could be living in a dream. Feel the world is at our feet, and our hearts in the right place. Time quietly slips away, a perfect day. Time quietly slips away, a perfect day. Sun above, sky is golden. We run free like a river, carried away in the moment. Time quietly slips away, a perfect day. Time quietly slips away, a perfect day. And I never knew magic like this. The clouds have fallen to the sea, and I never knew happiness like this. Now I breathe easy. Time quietly slips away, a perfect day. Time quietly slips away, a perfect day.
Good evening. Welcome to our September 22nd regular meeting. We had a lively work session that ran over a little late, so that's why we're starting our council meeting a few minutes late as well. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mayor Hartke,
Here,
Vice Mayor Rowe. Where was it?
he's here somewhere.
Councilmember Harris, Councilmember Lopez,
Here.
Councilmember Stewart,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Orlando.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation tonight will be led by Father Dan McBride from St. Mary's Catholic Church. Is Father Dan here? Oh, good to see you, sir. And our Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Orlando.
Let us pray. Paul of Tarsus tells his friend Timothy, first of all, I ask that supplications, prayers, petitions, and thanksgiving be offered for everyone, for kings and for all in authority, that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all devotion and dignity. Faithful God, we lift our prayers up to you for these your servants, who seek to deliberate and serve the common good of all the citizens of our great city of Chandler. Give them wisdom and courage. In your great name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in honoring our American pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Councilmember Orlando. Council, on our works, on our regular meeting, we only have a consent agenda. These are mostly items we have looked at before, minutes, seconds, or things that we have discussed. How would you like to proceed?
Mayor?
I didn't hear, sorry.
Okay,
Councilmember
Mayor.
Lando.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we approve the council regular meeting agenda, September 19, 2022, items 1 through 4.
I second that, Mayor.
And Mayor, thank you, Mayor. I want to thank staff for item 3 in settling that issue. I know there was a lot of background information and noise, but we kept it together. This council kept it together. And I believe this is a great compromise, and our citizens of Chandler will have to pay a lot less what this owner wanted to sell this for.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional comments, recusals?
Mayor.
Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you. Yeah, on item number 3 too, Kelly, great job of you and your team and our legal department for pulling this together. It's a smoking deal for the city. Let me just break it down to numbers here. We got a great parking garage for our community to park in. We inked a deal a long time ago, and we were able to pull it together. And it's a nice parking garage over by Look Cinemas that will continue to be able to provide free parking downtown for all of our residents and people that love to visit Chandler. Thank you.
Very good. Seeing no further comments, council, please vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. That concludes our regular city council meeting. Welcome to our study session of September 19, 2022. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Hartke,
Present.
Vice Mayor Rowe,
Here.
Councilmember Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Lopez,
Here.
Councilmember Stewart.
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Orlando.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is scheduled public appearances, and Councilmember Ellis, if you please join me up front. We have several proclamations, so Councilmember Ellis needs to get her glasses. Don't leave home without them. First on our scheduled public appearances are service recognitions. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. We do have several employee service recognitions this evening. For our first, I'd like to call forward our Director of Public Works and Utilities, Mr. John Knudsen.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. I'd like to invite David Berryesa forward to receive his 10-year. David's employment began in September 2012 as a street maintenance worker on the asphalt crew performing maintenance and repair. Within 7 months, David promoted to the senior streets specialist position, operating heavy equipment, undertaking a variety of maintenance activities. In December of 2018, he joined the Traffic Engineering Division as a traffic signal and streetlight technician, where he performs installation and repair duties on streetlights and traffic signal systems. David continues to build his knowledge by obtaining several certifications in work zone safety, traffic lighting and signals, and hazardous materials. David's hard work and commitment to service is outstanding. He takes on any challenge and quickly adapts to change. David is an incredible team player who goes out of his way to help others. He has proven to be an invaluable resource to our department and the city of Chandler. Thank you, David, for a great 10 years of service to the citizens of the city of Chandler. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, for our next presentation, I'd like to turn it over to our Deputy City Manager and Chief Financial Officer, Don Lang.
Thank you, City Manager. Okay, next we have Janet McFall. I'd like pleased to invite her forward to be recognized for 15 years of service with the City of Chandler. So Janet started with the city in 2007 as administrative support for the city's central supply warehouse and is now their senior administrative assistant. Experienced in all things central supply, Janet guides the city surplus property program by facilitating the online auction, as well as donating surplus items to Arizona municipalities, Chandler schools, and other nonprofit organizations within Chandler. She is truly the go-to for all things surplus for the city of Chandler. Chandler's work at Central Supply has allowed, or Janet's work at Central Supply has allowed her many opportunities to serve departments across the city. In the past, she volunteered her time to achieve the best lit float for the city's Parade of Lights and inspires people to get involved by her positive can-do attitude. Janet is such a joy to be around. She maintains great relationships with Central Supply's customers and is energetic and dedicated. She has received many value alerts and impressions highlighting her dedication and customer service. She is joined today by her friends and family and many coworkers that love her dearly. Congratulations, Janet.
Mayor and Council, for our next presentation, I'd like to invite forward our Chief of Police, Sean Duggan.
Good evening, Mayor, members of Council. I'd like to invite Lieutenant Nate Eckwood to come forward in recognition of his 15 years of service with the city. So Nate has served with the police department since 2007, and prior to his law enforcement career, Nate served in the United States Army for 4.5 years. But as a new police officer, he was assigned to the patrol division, where he quickly earned a reputation as a hard worker, a detailed investigator, and an all-around team player. Nate worked as a patrol officer for 8 years before becoming a detective in the human trafficking unit. And after promoting to sergeant in 2019, Nate served in field operations and again as a detective supervising our financial crimes unit. Nate was promoted to lieutenant in 2022 and currently serves as the nighttime watch commander right here in the downtown precinct. But in addition to his primary patrol duties, Nate also serves on our honor guard. So Nate, congratulations on your 15 years of service, and thank you for your leadership.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to invite forward for our next presentation, Ms. Raylan Nielsen, our Human Resources Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to call Tony Dominguez, or as he is affectionately known across the city, Safety Tony, to come up and tonight, Tony is being recognized for 20 years of service. He joined Team Chandler in 2002 and has been instrumental in developing, implementing, and coordinating the city's safety programs. As part of a two-person team that covers the entire city, Tony provides city departments with guidance and training in a variety of safety practices, everything from fire extinguisher training to overseeing the city's CDL program. Through monitoring work-related injuries, Tony provides training and solutions to help mitigate injuries to employees as well as respond to incidents. Tony's tough customers include the police and fire department, and his expertise provides these departments with solutions to help fill their unique safety needs. Tony's knowledge, expertise, and excellent customer service is instrumental in providing employees with a safe and healthy work environment. I've had the pleasure of working with Tony for the last 10 of his 20 years. Tony is joined tonight by his lovely wife, Donna. Congratulations, and looking forward to many, many more years with you.
Mayor and council, I do have one final recognition tonight. I'd like to ask Raylyn Nielsen to come forward to recognize her 10 years of service. You might be able to tell she was surprised. Mayor and council, I'm honored tonight to recognize Raylyn Nielsen for her 10 years of service to the city of Chandler. Raylyn joined Team Chandler in 2012 after serving progressively responsible roles in human resources in both the public and private sectors, including starting her career with the city of Mesa and rising to become the human resources director for the city of Helena, Montana. Joining Team Chandler as a human resources supervisor, she quickly proved herself as having exceptional leadership qualities and soon promoted to HR manager. She later served as Team Chandler's benefits and labor relations administrator for 4 years, overseeing the meet and confer process and building outstanding relationships with Chandler's employee associations. 4 years ago, Raylyn took the natural step to become Chandler's human resources director, a job in which she has truly thrived. She has taken on several large projects in her time as director, including the development and administration of new policies and procedures stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic, and she is now leading the charge on the city's classification and compensation study, an effort which touches every aspect of the organization and will help us continue to build a 21st century workforce. While Raylyn is passionate about human resources, we all know her true love is spending time outdoors, especially when it involves her grandson, KJ. Raylyn, you are such an important part of our organization, and we feel so lucky to have you on Team Chandler. Thank you for 10 fantastic years and looking forward to many more.
So city manager, if you find your paycheck screwed up next couple of weeks, you'll know why.
Next on our scheduled public appearances are Employee of the Year recognitions. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I want to first thank the members of our Employee Advisory Committee who were involved in organizing this year's Employee of the Year awards. We do have quite a few, and most of them, I'm told, are here tonight. So I will read through these as quickly as possible and ask them to come forward. I believe we'll do a group picture at the end. So we will start with the City Clerk's Office. This year's recognition goes to Ivan Enriquez. And I'll read a little bit about each person from their nomination. Ivan's passion for people shines through in the level of service he provides. His words and actions radiate the 4 service connections we employ here at the City of Chandler: making the connection, owning it, don't drop the ball, and celebrating Team Chandler. He consistently exhibits city values in every interaction and treats everyone with dignity and respect. Our next recognition goes to Nancy Jackson from Transportation Policy. Sorry, get out of order here. Nancy is a wonderful and integral member of Team Chandler. Her commitment to providing excellent service to the Chandler community is evident through all the work that she has done throughout her 16 years with the city. Nancy is dedicated to constantly growing and learning in order to execute her role the best she can, and is a valued member of the Transportation Policy and City of Chandler team. Congratulations, Nancy. Oh, our next recognition goes to Linda Ruiz from our Communications and Public Affairs Department. Linda is honest, hardworking, creative, dedicated, and great at researching solutions. She has the biggest heart and always finds a way to brighten somebody's day. She makes the connection by connecting people with resources, owns it by following through with every request or inquiry until a solution is found, doesn't drop the ball by staying on task and following up with every detail, and celebrates Team Chandler by making special moments for birthdays, milestones met, and in general, celebrating successful days. Congratulations. Our next recognition is Robert Devine from Cultural Development. Rob is the epitome of excellent customer service. He makes everyone feel welcome and heard, staff, volunteers, artists, and patrons. He is responsive, works hard, puts in the time and dedication needed to provide the best possible service. He makes our hospitality at the city and the Chandler Center for the Arts stand out among venues nationwide. Congratulations. Our next recognition goes to Raquel Cazares from Community Services. Raquel is amazing. She takes calls from the public who have concerns and forwards them to the appropriate people. She also follows up with those people to make sure that they were able to help. She is super dedicated to her job and is always willing to help no matter how busy she may be. She always has a smile on her face and with a warm greeting. Congratulations. Our next employee could not be here tonight, but I wanted to just recognize briefly Gerardo Bonias from Development Services. Following him is our next recognition is Paul Merrill from the Fire Department. Captain Paul Merrill is currently assigned to the EMS division of the fire department. His role as an EMS captain entails a wide variety of daily duties, whether it be creating or implementing training programs, building relationships with the community, or mentoring members of the department. He approaches everything he does with an attitude of excellence and humility. It is this level of commitment that makes Captain Merrill an outstanding member of Team Chandler. Congratulations. Our next recognition is Terrence Rhinone from Information Technology. Terrence makes sure the city servers are available, maintained, and backed up. He bridges the gap between teams for everyone, so everyone knows what is happening and what kind of impact it can cause. He sets the bar high for city services. He has exemplified leadership like no one else in his department, and he likes to be in the background, but his attitude, openness, and tenacity are leading our IT department to success. Congratulations. Our next recognition is Rose Schaefer from the Law Department. Rose has been with the city of Chandler for 27 years, and she has been a rock star for every single one. She is 100% dedicated to Team Chandler and to the success of the department. She knows the ins and outs of every job on the prosecution side of the law department and works tirelessly to make sure the wheels of justice are moving the way they should be. She is kind, professional, efficient, and always 3 steps ahead of every issue. Congratulations. Our next honoree is Julie Belt from Management Services. Every time Julie is asked a question, she doesn't drop the ball, and even if the area isn't in her area of responsibility, she goes around asking and helping to make sure everyone gets the right answers. She has a positive attitude and demonstrates exemplary skills in the financial reporting area and consistently goes above and beyond to meet the demands of the unexpected. Her knowledge of budget and financial reporting is a benefit to everyone. She is really appreciated for being patient and answering all of her questions in a professional manner. Congratulations. Our next honoree is Rosa Berriesa from Neighborhood Resources. Got a little family affair going on tonight here. Rosa equals customer service while assisting residents, community leaders, or fellow staff members. She's collaborative, takes the time to fully understand each situation and expectation in order to determine the best approach, and operates at the highest level of professionalism in all that she does. The energy Rosa exudes is contagious. She inspires her team and anyone who is lucky to be collaborating with her to rise up and provide the best of experiences for our residents. Congratulations. We actually have 2 from the police department, and the first is Chelsea Doss. Some of Chelsea's strongest qualities are her positive attitude and her desire to do things correctly and accurately. She never shows when she's in a bad mood and is always greeting coworkers and providing an open mind to those who have questions. She's always searching for ways the unit that she works in can improve, and she makes sure she understands every aspect of her job. She's eager to learn new things and is an amazing trainer and mentor to the forensics unit. Her smile and positive attitude are refreshing, and her desire to help improve her unit is inspiring and admirable. Congratulations. Also from the police department is Spencer Pitts. Detective Pitts continuously sets a positive example of the caliber of work expected from a police detective. His drive to constantly learn his craft and to teach incoming detectives and officers provides a solid foundation on which success is built. His dedication to furthering his own education allows him to implement new technological and other investigative innovations in order to improve the quality of his work. He takes it upon himself to serve not only his victims, but also the other members of the department. He is recognized for his tireless efforts to serve his community and his team, as well as efforts to make Chandler a safe place to live, work, and thrive. Congratulations. And last but not least is Tyler Parento from Public Works and Utilities. Tyler has been a champion of the reliability-centered maintenance program, working with our planners and schedulers and maintenance reliability analysts to bring a new level of efficiency to our maintenance program, which provides the citizens of Chandler with the best possible service at the level of efficiency they can be proud of. Leaders like Tyler are needed to make changes like this and sustain them into the future. He is relied on to take new processes to the field and hold them accountable for implementing them. Congratulations. Thank you. Mayor, that concludes our recognitions.
Good. Go Team Chandler.
All right, we have 3 proclamations in front of us. First is Security Officer Week. So, Judge, as soon as our honorees and their families are moving out, if Judge Skupin, if you could join us, unless you're leaving with them. Sir. Good to see you too, by the way. Yeah. All right. A proclamation. Whereas officers are often the first line of defense when it comes to emergency response and public safety threats, and whereas every day they work to protect those around them, providing not only peace of mind but physical protection as well. And whereas these individuals deter crime, lead evacuations, work closely with local law enforcement, and are constantly vigilant in their efforts to keep us safe. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, do hereby proclaim the week of September 12th through the 18th to be National Security Officer Appreciation Week. Thank you. Do you want to say anything?
I just wanted to recognize our security personnel because along with our police department, they monitor all the folks that come in through our court on a daily basis. We get over 4,000 to 5,000 visitors a month and they keep us safe. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Or I believe in technology. Our next proclamation is Friends of the Library Week. So if I could call up our Public Library Vice President, Amrita Deshpande. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Very good. All right. Whereas the Friends of the Public Library is a nonprofit, volunteer-based organization of dedicated advocates who collectively support the mission of our library system. And whereas the Friends of the Library celebrate 40 years of service this year, and the generous gift of their time and energy sets an example in how volunteerism and positive civic engagement contribute to a better community. And whereas the Friends understand the importance of well-funded libraries, and they continue to advocate and attract resources that enhance the library, providing programming, library materials and resources, equipment, services, and special events year-round. And whereas the National Friends of the Library Week celebrate the vital role that volunteers and advocates play in our community and recognizes the significant impacts of the Friends of the Chandler Public Library and encourage all to join in thanking our friends for their generous legacy of service to our library and community. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, do hereby proclaim National Friends of the Library Week. And we affix our hand to the seal this day. So thank you. Would you like to say a word or two?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank our supporters, donors, and volunteers for their support to the Friends of the Chandler Public Library and the Public Library. And I'm happy to accept this proclamation.
Thank you. Let's take a picture. Thank you. And our last proclamation, Councilmember Ellis is going to read, having to do with Domestic Awareness Month. If Chelsea Grieve with Domestic Violence Commission and the commissioners could come up. Councilmember.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. Come on in. Everybody come on in. Come on in. We go on the other side. And everybody. I would like to kind of try to stand in the middle of all of you guys to do this. I really appreciate all of you serving on the commission. And as you know, I am on the MAG for domestic violence. And so I feel that the mayor is giving me a point of privilege by reading this tonight. The best thing for me is to know that you guys are doing this. So really encourage me every day. Thank you. Proclamation by the City of Chandler, whereas domestic violence affects Chandler and communities nationwide and has been shown to increasingly impact military families, and whereas incidents of spousal abuse in the military are more than twice that of the nation's national population, and whereas research shows that military families are at greater risk for experiencing domestic violence due to certain factors, including economic vulnerability, social isolation, mental health concerns, and deployment. And whereas professionals acknowledge domestic violence in the military is underreported, creating challenges to fully understand how domestic violence affect military communities. And whereas research shows that having a supportive community reduces the incidence of domestic violence. Therefore, the city of Chandler strives to create a safe community for all to live free from abuse. And whereas together, the City of Chandler Domestic Violence Commission, the City of Chandler Military, and Veterans Affairs Commission, law enforcement, prosecutors, and community agencies educate and support families to help prevent domestic violence in Chandler. Now thereof, Kevin Harkey, the mayor of the city of Chandler, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your ongoing support of the Domestic Violence Commission. It takes the city support and community support to continue raising awareness on this important subject. Tomorrow is the 14th annual awareness event, and as you may have heard from the proclamation, we are honoring and highlighting military survivors of domestic violence. This will take place at 10 a.m. at the Avion Center, and everyone is welcome. We hope to see you there. Yes, anyone can come, and we definitely are looking forward to having you.
Thank you. All right. Let's take a picture. All right. Tell us where to move. All right, Ruth, I think you're going to be standing. You got it. Terry. All right. We're not done yet. Next, but wait, there's more. We have a recognition swim champion. So if Langston Lindsay, Dr. Lindsay, and family are able to come up, we would love to have you up front. 13-year-old Langston has been swimming, excuse me, Councilmember, has been swimming competitively since he was 7 years old. He currently swims for the Gold Medal Swim Club in Chandler, practicing 5 to 6 times a week. This year, Chandler student Langston set 7 new swim records at the Arizona State Swim Meet in his age group, including 50 and 100-yard backstroke, 50 and 100-yard butterfly. So many, it takes 2 pages. He was the highest point winner in the short and long course, and he is also part of the 400-yard relay team. Langston will compete again later this month in the next age group. We're so proud of you. He's a shining example of how talent, hard work, and dedication can come together to create something very special, not just for you, for your family, but your entire community. Good luck at the next swim meet. We look forward to sharing more of your successes as your swim journey continues. And we have a certificate of recognition. All right, let's take a picture. know it's a lot more work on parents as well.
Yes.
And thank Councilmember Harris for bringing that to us. That's all for us in the front. We do have one more scheduled public appearance as well. We have one scheduled public appearance by Janelle Tureed from related to domestic violence awareness in Muslim communities. Janelle, are you here? Very good. Yes. I do know our city has wonderful relationships with all sorts of communities and groups, and whether regardless of where people have come from, it's enabled myself and others to learn much about Islam. And we do look forward to hearing from you. You have up to 3 minutes. The lights in front of you will be green when it turns yellow. Please wrap up when it turns red. Please be done. You've got 3 minutes totally.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you council sitting members for letting me able to stand before you. It's a privilege and an honor that you guys are creating awareness domestic violence. I know you guys had a meeting a couple of days ago. I wasn't able to show up, so I apologize. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm feeling better. I wanted to go into specifically, not to negate the other cases of domestic violence that happens with non-Muslim communities, because we know that exists, but I also wanted to let people know and put more awareness out there for domestic violence that happens within Muslim communities, based off of the Quran, the teachings of the Quran. So I actually spoke with Usama Dakdok, and he actually has a website called thestraightway.org. And he actually translated the Quran from the Arabic to English, and he discussed some verses with me to let you guys be aware. In the Quran, chapter 4, verse 34, if you guys could write that down for future reference. Also, the Quran, chapter 2, verses 178, and the Quran, chapter 4, verses 3. These verses actually encourage Muslim men to abuse their wives. It's part of their culture, it's part of their religion. And it's really sad that in America, the Quran is actually allowed to be sold. It's not censored, it's not banned. It demeans women, it demeans children. And it really breaks my heart that this is actually allowed to be practiced within the United States of America and around the world. And so I just want to create more awareness, because this needs to be talked about. We need to create more dialogue, and we need to be proactive. And there needs to be something done with the Quran, because it's a very dangerous book. And that's why a lot of Muslim women stay in it, because they're taught to respect their husbands, even if they strike them. So I want to, I appreciate you guys giving me the time. You guys didn't have to do that, and I appreciate we have this forum that we can engage. You can engage with the public and have them come and discuss things that are kind of hard to discuss. But currently, right now, there's approximately 10 million cases of domestic violence that happens annually. 1 in 4 women are victims of domestic violence. 1 in 9 men are victims of domestic violence. So it's not just women, but there's men. And it's just, it's sad. And my heart breaks for all of these people that go through horrendous things every single day. So I just want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. We allow public comment to protect people's First Amendment rights and to allow people the right to address council. As a pastor and a mayor of this city, we work hard to make sure that our relationships with all people are not just copacetic, but we are seeking like goals to further our community and all that's in it. And we do not believe that any religion per se is offensive and dangerous. There's abuses to be found, whether it's in my faith or any other faith. We have wonderful relationships. And domestic violence, as you well pointed out, we agree is a very serious offense. And I hope that perhaps you'll join us for our breakfast tomorrow and see the work that we're doing and be part of that movement. We've been a leader in our efforts to combat domestic violence, and we support our victims in our community through our Domestic Violence Commission and the work that they do, which again, I thank you. A supportive community with domestic violence prevention and intervention resources creates a safe place for all. And we hope that more people will take advantage of the resources that we and other cities provide. We are honored and pleased that Chandler is a safe and diverse and inclusive community where people from all sorts of backgrounds and cultures and faiths, religions can thrive together. So again, thank you. And with that, Council, we'll move on to our next section, which is, looking through my paperwork, items that have been called in related to our consent agenda. So first of all, items number 11, 12, and 13 have been called in by Councilmember Orlando. You asked for a briefing or just a question, sir?
No, I just have a quick question, staff. No one called today, otherwise I would have probably got my answer. Real quick, this is all involve alleyway reconstruction. I'm just curious why we did 3 separate procurements, not one. Was there a difference in them, or what? Was there a statement of work difference, or what?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, correct. There are 2 alley projects and 1 Boston Street project. And while they are coming together during the same month, they've been working on them. We've been working on them independently over the last year and a half. So it's just a coincidence that they all came up. They each have their own special scope of work, and the contractor that was chosen for each was based upon the complexities of each project.
Got it. And so since we're up here and most cities are downtown, can you give us a quick explanation of what we're doing?
Absolutely. For Wall Street, so all 3 of these are design projects. The first one is Wall Street, and it was Wood Environmental. They completed our 15% design plan, so we asked them to come back due to the complexities of underground and utilities and the tight time frames of this area. So after the design of Wall Street, next summer will actually be undergrounding utilities, making it more pedestrian friendly, doing an archway in there, and really completing the pedestrian path from Chandler Boulevard down to Fry. The second project is Boston Street. And if you've been on Boston Street from Arizona to California, it just needs a lot of help and a lot of work. The streets are deteriorating, and we need to build that up. As we do that, we are looking at pedestrian features and making sure that the sidewalks and the pedestrian crossings are appropriate. So that's going to take a considerable amount of coordination with each of the downtown businesses. And then the third project is the Boston Street Alley, just right behind City Hall and the parking lot. As we've been doing with a lot of the alleys in this area, if we can make them a little more pedestrian friendly, add lighting to make them a little safer, and we're also going to put a trash enclosure to make it a little cleaner in that area. So when you look down from the 5th floor, it'll look much more attractive, and we might even get a mural in there in the future. At the same time, we're also going to be repaving all of the parking lot as well.
Great. Good update. Thank you. It's security, safety, connecting. I love it. Thank you.
I heard Councilmember Lopez and Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Kim. Just to clarify, you said the Wall Street design was from Fry to Chicago or to Chandler Boulevard? I thought you said Chandler Boulevard, but I may have misheard.
That's a great question. Through the mayor, Councilmember Lopez, while the project itself is just from Chicago to Fry, as you know, we've been working on the pedestrian trail from Chandler Boulevard all the way down to Fry, and this is the last piece of that. So if you don't want to walk along Arizona Avenue where all of the businesses are, you'll be able to take a very clear path all the way down through downtown.
So is part of it too, we're trying to like define a almost kind of like a colored walking paths that
Absolutely.
okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. I had made some recommendation through the manager's office concerning the alley, specifically the one right here that we can see from the fifth floor. I will hope that you will pay attention to that and implement some of my recommendation in there. I would love to have that passed on to her. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Next item called in was item number 19 by Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want a quick briefing from staff on, these are regular cell towers or 5G, and how far are they from residences?
Mayor, Councilmember Stewart, I'm Dennis Ost. I'm the Telecommunications and Public Utility Service Manager. First answer to your question, I've got well, let me answer the second one first. I've got a little display here. Hopefully it comes up on the screen for you. This shows that the 100-foot radius from the proposed site, the one that's going at Alma School and Pecos Road. You can see it doesn't touch any of the residences around it. It only touches the property to the south. And we have communicated with that property owner about the site. With that being said, this and the other two on the agenda tonight are macro cell sites. So they're the bigger towers. All of them are being upgraded slowly with 5G technology in addition to the small cell network that's going in.
Okay, thank you. So I'm assuming that the other two, they're outside the 100-foot area as well?
So the other two are our existing sites. So yes, they've already met those requirements.
Okay.
Where they're at.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember Ellis.
Can you define micro? I mean, I understand when I was sitting down with city manager, I did ask and he kind of tried to explain it to me, but this is your field, this is what you do. Can you explain it so that our constituent get a good understanding what micro mean for them?
Mayor, Councilmember Ellis. The macro sites are generally the bigger ones that you see as you drive around. Some of them look like palm trees.
Mhm.
Some of them look like flagpoles. Some of them are attached to electrical power poles, those sorts of things. Those are generally your macro cell sites, the larger ones. The micro ones, the smaller ones, will be attached to things like city streetlights, or there'll be a pole that's about the same size as a city streetlight, and they'll have much smaller antennas on them usually, or a little canister on top. So those ones are the small cells, and those have a shorter range, and so that's.
And those are typically used to facilitate what kind of devices?
So those work with all of your cell phones.
Okay.
So all of these towers are to enhance the cellular network.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Additional questions? Seeing none. Okay. Next item called in is item number 27, Councilmember Orlando. Are you?
We're good. We're good.
Oh, we're good on that one. Okay. Yeah, I remember that, and I think I scratched it off on another sheet.
Don't worry about it.
Item number 33, Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, City Attorney, I know you gave us an explanation earlier today before our meeting, but again, my concern here was, we sat down with Southwest Gas. They obviously admitted the failure. They were apologetic. They are, they paying full services for the injured individuals. And my concern was, are they going to be reimbursing us, or how is that going to work so that the taxpayers is reimbursed for the Sunset Library?
If I may, Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, our insurance carrier, Travelers Insurance, has paid most of our damages directly to us, minus our deductible. But Travelers has filed a claim with Southwest Gas seeking reimbursement for the damages they have paid to us as well as our deductible. And they will be pursuing those damages from Southwest Gas.
And then I thought I heard you say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that this will not affect our premium going forward next year, so that we're not obviously paying higher premium because we have a claim.
And if I may, Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, we have been advised this will not affect our premium. As you know, there are many things nationally and worldwide that have dramatically affected our premiums. This is not going to have any impact on them, is what
Okay.
we've been advised.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Ellis.
Did I hear you say that we were gonna get our deductible back?
If I may, Mayor, Councilmember Ellis, um, our insurance carrier is seeking reimbursement of our deductible as well as the damages they have paid directly to us. That is correct.
Thank you.
By the way, Mayor,
Councilmember.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Southwest Gas did do an outstanding job in leaning forward on this.
They sure did.
There was human error and that's an unfortunate event. And they also took a very serious approach to this, and they actually went back out and they're inspecting all the sites that potentially could have the same issue. So again, I just appreciate them leaning forward and taking ownership and then fixing the problem.
Mayor?
Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on Councilmember Orlando. Southwest Gas did take a serious approach. They became a very good partner. They called us and let us know, and just wanted to say that those are the type of partnerships that we need in our city. When someone can recognize that something was done and say, I'm gonna step up and adhere to it. And I thought they did a good job with that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. I missed one, my bad. Item number 25 by Councilmember Stewart. You wanted to make some comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I was just, I heard about this. I talked to the city manager about this project. So 2 years ago, we had we had an opportunity for a new business that came into southern part of the city called Dogtopia, and there was some concern about dogs being in close proximity to the neighborhood, and I think staff came up with a really good solution in looking at this on an annual basis to see if we had any issues. So I wanted to make a comment that this is an example of how small business, the community, and then staff can work together to find a solution for things that might be make the neighbors nervous. And from what I understand, we haven't had any complaints as it relates to this business. Matter of fact, I've heard some really great stories about being able to watch the dogs online, watch them play, and the other pets that are there. But when neighbors voice their concern about noise that could come from that, we worked with with the applicant at that time to limit hours, to do some things to make sure that the outdoor play area was sort of partitioned off to mitigate noise. And so we did I just want to commend staff for doing a great job and making sure that the residents their concerns were taken care of, and that we were able to work copacetically with the applicant. So I just want to make those comments. We can do these things, and we'll continue to do good work like this in the future.
Mayor.
I was going to ask Councilmember Stewart first if you can spell copacetic.
Copacetic. I think I learned that in 6th grade. I could not define it, but I know it fit right there.
Councilmember Ellis.
I just wanted to say not only that we thank our staff, but I also want Dogtopia staff. I had an opportunity to go and visit that place also, had a chance to sit down and see all the different part of the departments and how they interact with the dogs and things. And I was very impressed. They did an amazing job there and continue to do an amazing job. So they did their part, that's for sure. And they put the work into it. And I appreciate the fact that they give us the opportunity as council members. For myself, it was an invite. I just did an unannounced invite. I just show up and I was able to see things running as it should. So I'm happy to say, because as a nurse, I used to do that all the time to my business. I would just show up. The state department come in and show up and see your place without anything. And when I did that, I will have to report that they were really at the highest standard. So thank you, Councilmember, for bringing that up.
And Councilmember Ellis, maybe you can answer the age-old question, is how much is that puppy in the window? All right, item number 36, which was approving a grant agreement with FEMA, was brought for this presentation and comments by Councilmember Harris and Councilmember Orlando. Let's start with Councilmember Harris. Or first a presentation and then Councilmember Harris.
Yes, just quickly through the mayor council. This agenda item represents, to me, a lot of hard work from some of our members. We have a small group of firefighters that have formed a cancer prevention committee within our ranks that helps us identify opportunities to reduce the risk of cancer for firefighters. As we're learning more and we're experiencing more as an organization, we're learning that we need to do all that we can to help keep our firefighters safe, and cancer prevention identification at an early stage is very effective. And this is a huge step, a lot of work, a few years worth of work to put this grant in place and for it to come before you all.
Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, our firefighters put so much on the line, you know, in their lives, and I wanted to bring this forth just to make comment about how you guys are doing a wonderful job in doing early prevention. The firefighters are at risk when they go into a smoky building, when they're going through drills and things of that nature. Early detection is important. And the one thing that I appreciate about this is that this money is coming from FEMA. It's not coming from the taxpayers or our general fund. It's $963,000. So it's another way that Chandler and Chandler Fire Department continues to work towards making sure we put their health and safety first. You guys are community lifesavers. And I appreciate what you guys do. And so with that being said, I just kind of wanted to make sure that we acknowledge this work and acknowledge that we do care about our firefighters, not just what they can do for us, but their physical and their mental health. And this is so important. So again, thank you. Thank you. And I just wanted to bring this forward, that this is another way that we continue to support our firefighters and finding other ways to fund the things and the issues that goes on with firefighters every day, especially cancer. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. So it's important, I know this is medical, but I think the residents need to know what's going on here. And can you give us some background on what our firefighters are facing, which you kind of give us an overview, what this really does, and then potentially what our long-term solutions are?
Absolutely. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the comment, Councilmember Harris. I think first, it's important, and I started off by saying that this is really a culmination of a lot of effort from our cancer committee. But this last stage, we've worked hand in hand with the city manager's office, our management services. We took a tour of some facilities just recently with our human resources department, and what we've recognized, and we've experienced it personally. We've had a line of duty death related to cancer in the fire service here from Chandler Fire Department, and so what we found is that cancer currently is the leading cause of death for firefighters. It has outpaced cardiac arrest, which was the leading cause of death for many decades. And so we know that it's significant. We know that the fibers and how homes are built with, the plastics, what's in our carpet, what's in our paint, that gets absorbed into our firefighters' bodies. They breathe it in, they absorb it through their skin. And we're finding that firefighters across the nation are much higher prevalence of some rare cancers and at a very young age. And so when normal testing measures don't usually apply in the general population, most 35-year-olds don't get colorectal cancer, but firefighters do. They don't experience testicular cancer at the level that we do, or breast cancer at the level that we do. And this is a growing field, and we're learning about it. But what we do know about cancer, even early, is that prevention is so important. Not only does it save the member, it saves a lot of money in treatment. It keeps a firefighter healthy and able to return to work and work the rest of their career. So this grant will facilitate a lot of very specific testing. We've worked with oncologists and specialists to identify age groups that will focus specific treatment, but it'll include things like dermatology exams, an oncology consultation, prostate exams, breast cancer screening using specific ultrasound technology. It will include colonoscopies. It'll include low-dose CTs and MRIs for the body, and as well as multi-cancer blood tests. So there's a lot of technology out there that we're really going to harness. And to your point, we're really going to leverage FEMA and its desire to push some federal funds out for this purpose. And it's a great way for us to maximize a grant opportunity and hopefully keep our members safe.
I really appreciate, thank you, and I can't overemphasize, thank you for your service and what you do, and hopefully this is just the beginning of a long-term process that we could take care of our firefighters and other hazardous duty individuals, so, thank you.
Appreciate you, council. Thank you.
Thank you,
Ross.
Keith. Yeah. Councilmember Stewart.
Keith, thanks for the information. City Manager, can you find out for us and maybe for me what best in class cancer prevention is within fire departments throughout the United States? What it's going to take for us to sort of implement that here, whatever that may take, because that prevention is important. I know this is just about a grant to do the testing. I want to make sure that when our fire department is tested, that they come up with good marks for the future and for now.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, actually, Assistant Chief Hargis can probably answer part of that question right now if you'd like him to. But and I think this grant significantly advances us toward that goal. We can provide you some additional information, a checklist of best practices that we employ in the fire department today as well.
I think it's important to note that city managers already initiated conversation before we even got this grant about cancer prevention, talking about it, learning about it, and so we are very forward-leaning organization, and we certainly appreciate all.
Let's see. I've come to find that doesn't surprise me that you're already on it. That seems to be a trend here, City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Assistant Chief.
Thank you.
Next item called in, item number 56, Councilmember Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. Water. There he comes. Look like you look like a gunslinger up there, John. The way you walked up here, man. This is not a confrontation. I just want to know the good things you're doing over here with our taxpayer dollars.
What was the question? I was prepared for the chemical.
No, this is about the modification of the Roosevelt Dam flood control.
Ah, yes.
Okay. The chemicals you could do later. I mean, we'll just do this one
That's
first.
That's next. Through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, City of Chandler would like to participate with the Salt River Project in a study that'll be proposed, that's being proposed with the Bureau of Reclamation to allow an assessment to be done of the flood space that is left behind at the top of the Roosevelt Dam. So the Roosevelt Dam, it has a normal pool elevation. Above that normal pool elevation, there is a dimension that is left, or a depth that is left for potential flooding events. So the Bureau of Reclamation has an assigned volume of water that they leave behind open in case a large flood event. SRP has noticed that volume that is being left behind more than likely is in excess of what is actually needed for events that they've experienced. So this particular study is going to allow Bureau of Reclamation and Salt River Project to evaluate the idea of reducing that elevation left behind for flooding. And what that will do is that reduction in that volume left behind and left open for flooding will allow more water to be stored in Roosevelt Dam or behind Roosevelt Dam, and that the participants, which Chandler will be part of if approved tonight, we will share in that volume of excess water in a flood event. So if we had a flood event, that excess volume would be available for the city of Chandler to use.
Excellent.
So it's a very, what we believe, inexpensive way to buy into the potential for excess volume of water for the use for our ratepayers.
I think it's a great idea. Of course, it gets water flowing as well, and that's obviously, we're all concerned about water. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
John, piggybacking on that. So I know now we've been at about 62, 63% most of the summer, whether that's just the amount of water that's available. What's the delta between where we're at and what is considered, what's their percentage that they would like to be at if they said they were full and still allowing excess or additional room for flooding?
Mayor, the SRP just came out with their predictions and their evaluations up to August, and it came out today. And I think we're still sitting at a overall system volume at about 65% in that range. They don't like to get too much coming off of a summer. They don't like to get too much above that 65% number because the largest volumes that fill those reservoirs occur in the wintertime.
Okay.
So they like to leave extra volume available in the reservoir space for the instance that we would have a good runoff season. So we have to have room in order to store that. So the volume that we have is just about where they want to be. We've had a very excellent monsoon this year, and it's filled the reservoirs to about where they want them to be. I think maybe last year or the year previous, they were a little bit higher, like 70% filled, but that's about where they want to be for the summertime.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? All right, stay up there. We've got two more questions, and they're specifically addressed to you by Councilmember Stewart on item 57 and 64 with chemicals. Councilmember.
Thank you, Mayor. John. Wow. I saw this come across, the pricing, the cost increases. Can you give me some background and that and how that's going to affect our residents and kind of dig into it?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Stewart. Let me just briefly give you a rundown of the types and volumes of chemicals that we use in water and wastewater treatment. These contracts also include aquatics for their pools, but tremendously, the majority here is for utilities, water and wastewater both. So we purchase large volumes of caustic soda, alum, sodium hypochlorite, or bleach. We use large volumes of lime and even salt. We bring salt into our Pecos plant, and we actually generate chlorine using salt. So the volumes that we bring in are by the truckload. So each of those chemicals that I mentioned, we bring in literally 3 and 4 truckloads a week to each of our facilities to give you a sense of the volumes. So we also purchase chlorine tablets for the utility as well as aquatics. There are many different influences that are affecting our costs today. So I'll give you kind of the rundown. Obviously, labor, delivery costs, and supply chain issues for all of our chemical suppliers. We've only realized these big increases here in the past or in the recent months. And there's one other thing that has come up to us that we've noticed is that there is an increased tax burden that are being added to our bills as well this time. And the tax, it's a new tax that took effect in July, and it's to be collected by the federal government.
So the federal government's taxing the chemicals that we use to purify our water. Where did that come from?
Well, I'm not a tax accountant, and I don't pretend to be one, but my understanding is that it is from the Federal Infrastructure and Jobs Act. It was imposed on us. It's called a Superfund excise tax. And the bad thing about it is the cost of that can be up to about $9.50 per ton of the chemicals that we bring in. And we're bringing in, as I said, truckloads and truckloads. So it is it could be a significant.
So that tax we would have to pass on to the residents in order to pay the federal tax.
That's correct.
Okay, that's interesting. So the Jobs and Infrastructure Act actually had taxes in it for our water?
That's my understanding.
Okay, and then you mentioned something about a 44%, or I saw in the memo, 44% increase, and that's based on supply chain?
The 44% increase that's discussed in the memo is an average of all of our chemicals. We have some chemicals, let me see here, overall 44%, but sodium hypochlorite, which is bleach, is a 93% increase. We have caustic soda is 100% increase, and that's that's currently August 22 is when we've seen that one. We've got the lime that I spoke of is an increased cost of 40%. So in combination of all the chemicals, it's accumulation of 44% average.
Wow. Wow. So this coupled with the inflation, our fixed income families are going to see, can we absorb this price increase within our current rate?
Well, I believe we certainly can absorb it within our current rate structures today. It is our practice to review our rates on a 2-year schedule. The next time that we'd be reviewing would be soon because we'll be preparing for a possible rate increase in January of 24. Fortunately for us, our rates are very, very low. Our rate increases that we've planned are quite low. So if we do have to adjust based on revenue and expenses that we would review,
Yeah.
it could affect us, but it shouldn't be too much.
Wow. Well, John, thanks for the presentation. I mean, it sounds like we have to deal with another overreaction and inflationary causes from the federal government, and our residents are going to have to bite this one too. So I appreciate the update on that. It's a shame, but I know you'll do a great job of mitigating those expenses the best you can. Thank you.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Council, that concludes all the items that have been called in. We'll see you at a work session on Thursday, and then a scintillating, exciting council meeting on Thursday following that. So that concludes our study session.